What's happening, Boot Junkies? Mike Delgadio here, back with another video on home studio setup for voiceover. A while back, I made a video about the two different headphones you need when you're a voice actor. There's the headphones that you need when you're in the booth and you're recording and all the requirements that go along with that situation. And then there are the ones that when you're mixing and mastering, making your final audio and all the different requirements you have in that scenario. It's really two different scenarios. Doesn't have to be two different physical pairs of headphones, especially if you can find a pair that excel in both of those scenarios. I've had a chance, nice segue, Mike. We've had a chance to use these headphones that I'm wearing now for about a month. These are the Audeze LCD-XC headphones. And I've been using them both here in the booth like this, and also using them for finalizing, mixing and mastering and finalizing my recordings. And these, for me, have very much fit the bill for both of those scenarios. So if you're new to voice acting, if you're new to headphones, let's talk about what those scenarios are. And at the same time, we'll talk about the LCD-XCs. Can I just call them the XCs for the rest of the review? Hopefully I can get away with that. But let's see what these have to offer, and let's talk about headphones for voice actors. Now, full disclosure, Audeze did send me these headphones in the hopes that I would make a review for them. However, they get no editorial input on what I say. They won't see this video before you do. And if you watch my videos, I don't really tell you to go out and buy them or don't buy them. I just want to give you the facts, tell you my experience with them, so that if you are in the market, it can help you make an informed decision. So it will say compensation, paid promotion, because I get to keep the headphones. All right, so let's jump in. For part one, when you're in the booth recording, for me, there's two factors. The first being comfort. Comfort is non-negotiable. I do a lot of extended recording sessions, and those demand headphones that fit snugly, fit comfortably, without causing me any fatigue. They can't cause me any pain, no friction or anything like that. Anything that will distract me from my performance is sort of a non-starter. So excessive clamping force or friction or anything like that. Headphones that make your ears sore or tired, they're non-starters. The XCs, as you can see, they have these extra large, thick, sort of cushy ear pads. They are available in either leather or non-leather. And they also have this really wide, well-supported headband. Those two things make for very comfortable headphones that are very suitable for long-term wear. And for me, these have proven to be super comfortable, even after wearing them for 4 or more hours in a recording session, wearing them all day as I go from recording session to recording session, making videos and so forth. And you can see just how thick these pads are. They provide a great deal of comfort and a degree of noise isolation. There's no contact on my ears at all for these headphones. They only touch my skull, if that helps. Though I have found that if you are wearing them for a long period of time, they can build up a little heat inside, so you may need to remove them for a few minutes to let them cool down and vent, to cool off. Furthermore, this wide headband is designed to distribute the weight evenly. These are, as you can tell, these are chunky headphones. They're kind of big. They're reasonably heavy as headphones go. 670 grams, I think. Considerably more than your sort of consumer grade plastic headphones. These are a little bit more. So they have this wide headband that makes it very supportive. It also has a metal headband above the leather strap. So this whole design up here, it distributes the weight very evenly on my head. There are no pressure points during extended use. Comfort. Number one, these fit the bill. The other most critical aspect for headphones in the booth is that they need to be isolating for sound. There's nothing worse than having headphone bleed leak into the recording and ruin your take. That's why I like the XCs. The XCs different from a number of other Audezes, these are a closed back design. So they're much less likely to leak a sound out that the microphone's going to pick up and potentially ruin a take. The closed backs will greatly reduce the likelihood of that happening. These ear cups are made from what appears to be a woven carbon fiber-like material. I don't know if it's carbon fiber or fiberglass, I'm not sure, but that can help with both the rigidity of the headphones. They don't vibrate a lot. It can also reduce the weight a little bit compared to something like wood. Overall, and they do seem to keep the sound from emanating out the back. So, I have freedom to make the playback louder while still reducing the risk that the microphone's going to capture stray sounds from the headphones. For voice acting, as a professional, someone who kind of lives in my headphones all day, we're in a booth, and that involves frequent handling of the headphones. We take them off, we put them on multiple times a day. We're adjusting during sessions just to change up the comfort. We use these a lot every day. I know I practically live in my headphones. The XCs have a high quality metal construction, and they seem built to withstand regular daily use. The use of high quality materials is pretty much evident throughout the XCs. All the critical components for durability are made out of metal. The headband is metal, the yokes are metal, the adjustment pins are metal. Everything is metallic. And no, not a creak in sight. Not a creak in sight, which you can't say for all the plastic headphones. Sometimes on my plastic headphones, when I move, I can hear them creaking, and I've heard creaks get into the microphone. Does not happen with the Audezes. So I would say that the construction of these speaks to the long-term durability of the headphones, making them an investment in your voice acting business. I would expect that these are likely to withstand the wear and tear of professional, daily, everyday use, frequent handling, adjustments, long hours, very durable. Along with that, the ear cups have detachable cables, and they angle forward. Being able to detach the cables adds to the longevity of the headphones, making it easy to replace a broken cable without needing to repair the whole unit. The angle of the connector is comfortable because it doesn't interfere with your shoulders. I've had some where it hangs down and the cable will get caught under your collar and things like that. Doesn't happen with this sort of canted forward design, especially given that these are, as you can see, these are fairly oversized ear cups. These are big headphones. So having that angled forward actually does increase the comfort. You saw me when I pulled it out. The cable attaches to the ear cup with a mini XLR jack. The inclusion of mini XLR jacks is a noteworthy design choice for these headphones, particularly when compared to a lot of the more consumer-grade ones that use the 2.5 millimeter or 3.5 millimeter TRS jacks. The XLR jack improves the durability of this connection, and it can improve the audio quality of the connection, being a balanced cable, less likely to pick up noise like from a nearby cell phone or something like that. These lock into place with a little button. And XLRs, there's a reason we use them for our microphones. It's a very durable connector. Meanwhile, these have a 20 ohm impedance rating. Now, what that means for us, if you don't know that term, it means that you don't need an extravagant amplifier to drive them, which can be very helpful for many of the interfaces that we use. These can be driven plenty loud with virtually any amplifier. Now, clearly, better amplifiers, better digital to analog conversion could mean a clearer, richer sound, but you don't need a super expensive amplifier just to get volume out of the XCs. That 20 ohm impedance means you could plug these into a phone should you still have a headphone jack or the little adapter. But that said, the provided cable only terminates in the larger 1/4 inch plug. It doesn't have the removable 3.5 millimeter option, so you will need an adapter, which you'd need to pick up separately. It's not included. Most of the interfaces sort of in the pro setting in your home studio, they're going to have the 1/4 inch jack. I think that's why that selection is made. But on the off chance, if you do need the 3.5 millimeter option, know that you will need an adapter. Or you could probably also source a separate third-party cable that's mini XLR on one end and a 3.5 millimeter with an adapter, but that would be a separate cable. Now, as we move out of the booth and we think about mixing and mastering, there's a different set of requirements. In that case, I would be willing to sacrifice comfort for better sound fidelity. Because when you're making mixing and mastering decisions, it's the sound that is most important. But the XC shines in the sound quality department. It's got a mostly flat frequency response. Flat is sort of hard to define with headphones, but these are sort of designed with the studio in mind. And they're designed trying to ensure that the sound engineers, which is the role that we assume when we're making our mixing and mastering decisions, we're trying to get an uncolored representation of the recording. We want these to act as monitors and not as like pleasure headphones, if that makes sense. We're looking for an accuracy that allows us to make precise adjustments with EQ and things like that. We want to be able to make informed decisions when we're thinking about equalizers and cutting bass and boosting frequencies and checking for sibilants and so forth. That said, there is a certain brightness. It gives the sensation of a treble boost with these headphones. And that's because of the planar magnetic design, and we're going to talk about. But if you're accustomed to the more consumer-grade headphones, these may seem brighter than you're accustomed to. Something to consider, but it should prove beneficial for your editing decisions. You won't artificially boost the treble because these headphones are going to be telling you a little bit more of the truth with their clarity. The XC's planar magnetic drivers, we're going to dig into planar magnetic drivers in a second, but these are designed to give a clear but detailed sound. They're going to bring forth the nuances in your voice. This sound signature, not super bass heavy, a little bit more bright on the treble end, that's going to provide you with a good, clear, accurate representation of your voice without excessive coloration. All right, so I've mentioned a number of times here the planar magnetic drivers that are in here. That might be a new term for you. If you've never gone down the rabbit hole or done research on headphones, the term planar magnetic might be like, what does that mean? So let's just take a minute to dig in and we'll talk about these drivers in particular and how they differ from the typical headphones you're accustomed to. These drivers, they employ a technology that differs a lot from the dynamic headphones that you'll find, the dynamic drivers that you'll find in most headphones. Conceptually, for voice actors, it may be helpful to think of the drivers that are in here as being similar to a condenser microphone. In particular, with how a condenser microphone is different from a dynamic microphone. We use condenser-style microphones in the studio because they have an ability to capture a much more detailed, full, rich sound compared to a dynamic mic, right? A condenser microphone versus a Shure SM7B, the condenser mic is going to sound much clearer, much bassier, just generally more rich compared to the dynamic microphone. The planar magnetic drivers in these headphones, it's a similar world to the condenser mic, especially compared to the dynamic headphones. The drivers here, they have this thin, lightweight diaphragm. Sound familiar, like a condenser microphone? That's suspended between two sets of magnets. And the diaphragm has this pattern of metallic conductors. And when the audio signal passes through them, it interacts with that magnetic field and it causes the diaphragm to vibrate. And that's what produces the sound. And this offers a couple of key advantages, particularly relevant to us as professionals, audio professionals. The magnetic force is distributed across the entire diaphragm, which leads to less distortion as opposed to just having something that moves just the center, like a voice coil in a dynamic driver. Having it move the whole plane can make it so that there's a movement, but with less distortion. Thanks to a much larger surface area of the diaphragm and that controlled movement, they can reproduce audio with a higher resolution, more detail than you'd be accustomed to with a dynamic headphones, much like the condenser microphone versus a dynamic microphone. That diaphragm, it's got a lower mass, which allows it to move more quickly, which is going to give you that sensation of a greater clarity of the treble. All in all, it results in a more accurate, a more dynamic representation of the audio, captures the subtleties and textures that are crucial when we're making our editing decisions. And as I said, this is especially true with the high frequencies. There's a crispness to the audio with the planar magnetics that may strike you at the beginning when you listen to the headphones. They sound smooth, but suddenly there's a clarity that you hadn't heard before. And I've listened to a lot of different headphones. In turn, you may discover more mouth clicks that you never knew you had, which is also good because now is the time to eliminate them when you're recording and when you're editing, rather than sending those clicks down to the client for them to hear them. Now, something else to think about. That you can see, these are big headphones. They're pretty chunky, right? The drivers inside these are 106 millimeters. These large drivers, they can move more air, can contribute to a more potent, more expansive signal, especially with response to bass. These headphones can make that fuller, richer representation of the lower frequencies. It can give a wider feeling soundstage, which, as we're trying to make all of our editing decisions, that can be a big deal. Now, the XCs, these are not like artificially bass boosted like bass cannons. You're going to get deep, clean bass, but that's not going to like rattle your head or be exaggerated. These are heavy, designed for purpose. They're not going to artificially rattle, and they're not going to artificially boost that bass just for like a mega bass effect. I figured this out because I use a reference track when I listen to all my headphones. And there's a track from the Dark Knight soundtrack called Why So Serious by Hans Zimmer. If you've never listened to that, just go listen to it because there's a section in the middle. I think it's about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And there's this sub-bass section that if you have good headphones, it comes through. And on these, that section comes through loud and clear. No matter how loud I made it, I tried it on my Audient, I tried it on with my Apogee preamps, I could turn it all the way up, no distortion. The bass stays clean and clear, not exaggerated, not boomy or muddy or weird or anything like that. It was clean and deep, kind of in a way I hadn't heard it before. It was pretty kind of amazing, actually. So, to sum up, they have deep bass. They've got crystal clear highs. They're easy to drive with any gear. They have a closed back for when we're in the booth, yet they have that wide, clear soundstage for the critical listening phase of mixing and mastering. They satisfy everything I look for in both of the headphone wearing scenarios we need for voice acting. Finally, I should mention that these headphones come with an incredibly robust flight case. No cardboard boxes here. This case will ensure that your investment remains safe for many years to come. A very welcome touch. I've got lots of headphones and I'm trying to preserve cardboard boxes so when I'm not using them to protect them, I have that. Or I have some headphones that I have to go buy flight cases for. You don't have to do that with the Audezes. They're going to give you a real locking flight case. Now, as you can imagine, these XCs, they're priced at the higher end of the market. It's got a price point over $1,000 US. It's no joke, right? We understand that these are expensive headphones. They represent a significant investment. But for a professional whose job it is to live in these headphones, and these are have a direct impact on the quality of my work, that cost can be justified. so long as the headphones align with your key needs: durability, comfort, sound quality, and sonic accuracy. In much the same way that as a pro studio, I'm not shocked when there's a microphone that costs over $1,000. That's not unusual at all. As a pro, I don't blink an eye when I hear of a microphone being over $1,000. So for me in the pro scenario, neither should I wince at a headphone. I'm going to have these for several years. They are an investment in my business. But I do recognize you have to save up for these. They're going to be a barrier for those on a tighter budget, no question. But you can look at these when it becomes an affordable option. You can look at these as a multi-year investment in your business. Okay. So, in conclusion, I'd say for me, the Audeze LCD-XCs, especially in the Audeze line, if you're looking for one pair of headphones that covers all of your needs, these can stand out as robust, a high-quality option for voice actors, both inside and outside the booth. They seem to be very durable. The build quality is excellent. They have the sound isolation I'm looking for. They have the comfort I'm looking for. With that slight caveat regarding the weight and size, that does take some getting used to. But most importantly, the sonic accuracy, the neutrality of the sound profile make them a very applicable tool for a pro in the pro audio space. The price, while more expensive, can be seen, you have to look at them as an investment, right? Because it is more expensive. But there's a high quality build, auditory precision. That means you're going to be able to use these for many years of your pro audio work. Amortized over years, these become a worthwhile investment. Make sense? I hope so. I hope that helps. If you're looking for these for your studio, trying to see if these are right for you, I hope that information helps. That's all I have for you today. But go get yourself a set of cans. Maybe a pair of planar magnetic, ultra clear detailed cans. Get a pair of cans and a microphone so you can get out there and you can record something amazing. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.